Alright then, so in this video, kind of made the pilgrimage out to the Kato Hobby Center in Tokyo. So this is at the subway station in Shinjuku. I think this is right by the government building in Shinjuku. Waiting for the Oedo subway line here. And fairly short ride, just a few stops out to Ochai Minami Nagasaki Station, which is about a 10-minute walk then down to the Kato Hobby Center. So a fun little neighborhood that you walk down here. As you start to head down this street, down towards the end, you can just start to see the red streetcar. Unfortunately, there was a bunch of construction noise going on outside. Once you get inside, the store was fine. So I'm going to shut up a little bit as we go through this, just kind of let the video speak for itself, and I'll maybe talk a little bit about some of the things as we go through. But otherwise, this was just an awesome experience. It was really cool to get out there. It was really cool to see all the displays that they had, starting out with all these little dioramas and things like that in the very first entryway. And then once you got inside the store, they had a whole bunch of the different locomotives, rolling stock on display. Pretty much anything that's currently out, they had on display here. I did try and order 2 or 3 things that were actually out of stock. They didn't have them, unfortunately, but then they had just a whole bunch of parts, pretty much any part in existence. They had a bunch of scenery stuff, spares, figurines. Most of it was N-scale. They did have some HL scale as well. But yeah, awesome place to check out. Just fun to nerd out and see all the stuff that they had here. So this was then the main display layout that they had downstairs in the Kato Hobby Center, and really expensive. I thought they did a really, really good job with this. Now obviously it's to kind of show off and showcase a lot of their own Kato products, and so pretty much everything that you're seeing is Kato that's running around, the scenery and stuff like that. I thought it was a really good job coming around the loops and different levels that they had running here. Then a little bit further along in some of the video clips you move and see the kind of main station area itself, really expensive station area. You can kind of see a shot here looking down it, but I've got some more video further around. We also then had subway running underneath the part of it. We had some street trams that were running as well. That was pretty cool. And then on the back side of it, we'll see in a couple of minutes here, we had just a really, really nice scenic area. So this is this backside of this main display layout, and again showcasing a lot of the different KATO products that we had, tunnels, bridges, a lot of the scenic stuff, catenaries for wiring, bridge entryways, and then I'm guessing tied in with some of the woodland scene mix products here for ground scatter, trees, rock molds, things like that. But again, I thought this was very well done. It showcased kind of both sides. You had the more kind of cityscape on the other side here, and then this side was more like the rural running, but again it showed different scenery, different seasons that you could move through, because now we've got all the snow as well. So again, depending on where within Japan you wanted to model and what time of year you wanted to model, KATO just showing off what they have, but I thought it worked really well. They did also then have this more HL layout. Wasn't a whole lot running on it. KATO don't do a whole lot in HL, but again, just to kind of show off what they have, what's available, what they can do, and then just a whole mass of power stuff that they had down on the end here that would be used to control stuff when it was running. So upstairs was then much more where you could bring your own trains. So they had a couple of little diorama stuff right here. Wasn't quite as big as downstairs because you had this big open area here where the main display layout is. But upstairs they had HL and an N-scale, pretty sizable N-scale layout actually that you could run on. It was really cool getting to see that car parked outside the whole time as well. This is the HO layout that they had, and I'm pretty sure that you were able to rent time on here, like 30-minute, 1-hour slots. No one running trains today, but I thought it was a really cool idea that they had this. And then the main one that they had was this N-scale layout. So I totally forget the gentleman's name. I briefly chatted with him and made sure it was okay to take video of his train running around. And he thought that was pretty cool that I was interested in it. This is a fairly sizable layout. It's probably, I don't know, 15 feet wide, 20 feet long, maybe a little bit more. And look modular as well. If you look carefully, it looks like it's all built in modules. You've then got the wiring harnesses between them, almost like you would have in a T-track standard, although this doesn't look like T-track, but kind of. It's got a mountain line that's got main lines down the bottom. So I don't know if KATO takes this apart and moves it around when they do have train shows going on there in Tokyo, but I thought it was a cool approach. But again, this was just the idea that if you wanted to bring your own trains, you can rent one of these lines. It was fairly cheap, 500 yen, I think, for 30 minutes, but don't quote me on that, I could be wrong. And if you didn't have a big layout at home or any kind of layout at home, You know, you could bring some models here, you could run them, you could have fun. We had a number of different stations, and so basically each station controls one or two of these lines, and that includes getting to thrust some of the turnouts as well if you maybe had a couple of lines coming into a station. So overall, a really, really cool approach, and I wish I had had more time to be able to do this. The same when I was in Akihabara. Pop and Data had a pretty good layout there. Pop and Data also had a layout down in Osaka as well, same kind of thing, you can rent time. So maybe next time I'll be able to take some trains and I'll be able to spend an hour or so just running them on the layouts like this. This is then just looking back down on that main display layout, kind of from that balcony up on the second floor, and just kind of getting to take it all in and just see how extensive it was. And great trip out to Kato Hobby Center. I loved spending an hour or so there. My very patient wife is just off to the top right hand corner of this video, sat and read her Kindle most of the time. But if you're in the Tokyo area, absolutely you've got to go out and check this place out just to see what they can do with the big display layout, and then obviously buy a few trains while you're out there. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Do check out the channel for some more videos on my Japan trip, as I've kind of moved around different hobby stores, and then I will honestly get back to Great Northern Cascade Division pretty soon once I've done kind of processing and decompressing from this trip.